first thing to do is to design your character. This character is a very simple one with one limb body and a basic 360 head for a 360 head turn. I tend to design all my characters inside Photoshop. However, there are many other programs you could use such as Affinity Photo, Affinity Designer and many more. Just make sure that whatever your software of choice is, it can create a PSD file, as Cartoon Animator needs PSD files. That is, unless you're updating a graphic and where you can update it with PNG files. This tutorial is the first of a series where I'll go through the design and rigging of different types of characters. I'm speeding through this section however, as I will go through the design in much more detail in a later tutorial. Once your character has been designed, it's then onto the rigging stage. There are two ways that rigging can be done inside Cartoon Animator. You can do it with inside the PSD file when you import it inside the software, or you can actually do it inside Cartoon Animator itself. Now these two ways I'm going to cover in different tutorials, so hit the like button, hit the subscribe button and follow the channel to keep updated on all these different tutorials. If you're rigging inside the PSD file, there's a very strict way that you've got to label things and there's a very particular file structure. Again, I will be going through this in more detail in a later tutorial. However, if you just watch this video, you'll see the structure for this simple character. We've got folders for the bones, for the face and also the body, in separate folders that is. And we've also got images as well, for the eyes, for the face, as you can see here, we've got bones and we've got folders for every single different element of the character. So we've split the eyes up, the eyebrows up, the mouth up, the cheeks as well. Everything has got their own bone and everything has got their own folder. Now inside the folder for the mouth, you'll have different sprites inside there for different shapes for the mouth, whether it's open, closed and a few different other expressions. You can make more expressions, however you'd have to manually update these inside Cartoon Animator yourself, and again we'll go through that in a later tutorial. For the eyes, we've also got different expressions as well, but for simplicity's sake for this tutorial we've got a basic eye open and an eye closed. But it's worth noting that the eyes have to be separated into irises, eye whites and mask. That is basically so you can move the irises around inside Cartoon Animator. You can rig that and it brings your characters to life even more because you can give them some really good expressions. You can add a few additional elements such as these ears, but again, every time you add an element, if you want to move it inside Cartoon Animator, you have to give it a bone, basically so you can move it. So here you'll see I'm going to go through the mouths. I'm going to speed through the mouths, but you can see that every different expression for the mouth, as in open and close, have got a separate sprite for that. And that's so you can animate the mouth inside the software. And the body, as you can see, has got a layer of its own as well. Now once you've fully designed your character and also hopefully done the right file structure, you bring it inside Cartoon Animator. Now all being well, that will bring in successfully. If it doesn't, it will give you an error log which will tell you what to do, how to fix anything. So it will take you into this screen here, which is your character screen. So there'll be a few layers that you might need to mask or unmask, like for example this eye has been masked, so you click on this little button here and it will unmask it, so you'll be able to see the whole eye. Now you see on the cheeks, they do need to be masked and it uses the face as an actual mask shape. So click on the cheeks and on the mask and then the cheeks will mask themselves with inside the face. And you'll see they've got a load of bones with inside the body as well. So that's all good. The next thing you want to do is go into the 360 head creator. Now this looks like it's quite scary, but it's actually not. The first thing you do, well what I do anyhow, is duplicate every single corner and side from the front pose. So with the copy and paste, we'll do this to every single corner. Takes about a minute to do, which isn't too bad. But you're literally just duplicating the front position in every single angle that you're going to be using. And it makes the rigging a lot easier. So click preview, just twirl around and you'll see that nothing's moving. So the next thing you want to do is click on the left icon and then move all your sprites to the left. So just do these. And there you go. And then once you've done that, just copy and paste it into the top and the bottom for that corner, for that side. And give it a little test and you can see the head now is moving from side to side, which is great. That's exactly what you want. So once you're happy with that, we'll go to the other side. You can mirror this, but I do it manually. And then move it all over. Like this. Just into the few at the top. Just move the ears back. That's great. And then copy that into the top and bottom as well. Like this. Then give that a preview. Now it's great. You're going back and forth. So you've got a left and right turn. Brilliant. That's exactly what you want. So now let's tackle the up and down. So click on the up and move everything up. Move the ears down. Just give it a little up and down to see what that's like. That's great. And then do the same for the bottom. So move everything down. The eyes down, the ears, the eyebrows, and the ears are done. So that's good. Give it a little test. That's great. So we've got the up and down working. So the next thing to do is to do the four corners. Now I'm going to fast forward through this bit because it takes a bit of time to do. It might be a bit boring to watch. So let's just fast forward this. And then just sort out a few little glitches and then come out of it. So you've done your 360 head turn. You're happy with that. That's all great. So go back to the main screen. I'm just going to move the character along a little bit. Move them into the center. Now I'm just going back to the head composer again and I'm just going to fix the eyes. So I'm going to make it so the irises can go quite a way out of the eye. It just gives your character a little bit more expression. So I'll move that up and down. That's great. And then make the pupil bigger, or the iris, whatever you want to call it, bigger. Move it into the right position. And then make that one small, which it already is. That's great. Let's go to the other eye and we'll do the same again over here. So move the iris to the left and the iris to the right, then up and then down, and make it big for this expression like that. A bit bigger. Make sure the small one's okay. Yeah, that's great. Okay, cool. I'm happy with that. And the great thing is you can also calibrate it so you can see what it looks like. So if you click on all, it will cycle through everything, the head rotations, the expressions, the mouths, everything. So let's give that a little look through. You can fine tweak this if you want to, but it's looking like it's okay for me for this little tutorial anyhow. So we're going for the mouths, the eyes. Yep, that all looks great. So you've designed and you've rigged your character and you've sorted out the face expressions and everything. So the next thing to do is to create a scene. So the first thing to do would be to bring in a background. So I'm just going to bring in this basic background. And then I'm going to import my character. Okay, let's resize him a little bit. There you go. Move him onto the screen a bit better, so he's now in the center. So I'm just going to turn his head a little bit. Like that. I'm just going to make sure that his sprites have been picked up, as in his eyes. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, they're all there. I'm just going to move him off the screen a little bit because we're going to get it so he kind of crawls or whatever worm or caterpillars do into the center, do a little speech and then walk off again. So let's just put his eyes over a little bit. Now I've got a pre-made motion here, which is of a worm / caterpillar moving. So let's work out how long we want to make it until he gets to the center. Round about there should do. Now if you click on transform, you can see like a little keyframe has appeared. So it's going to go from left to the center. So from one keyframe to the other. It's going to stay in that one position for a couple of seconds, and there's a new keyframe there. And this is all happening on the timeline. So that's great. So it's going to come in, stay, and then just drag this over so I can see more of the timeline. Drag the little marker out a bit. Move the character out, and you'll notice there's another keyframe has appeared as well. So let's just make the composition a little bit shorter, so it's the time of the motion. Go back to the beginning, and you'll see he'll slide on, or she will slide on. Stop. Let's play that again. Oh no, tell you what, let's just put the motion on. So drag and drop the motion onto it. So you'll see the motion is happening. That's one cycle, so let's drag and drop it on again to get the second cycle. Okay, that's great. So if the motion's still going and the character's stopped, so let's slide that keyframe along a little bit and try and time them so the motion stops when the actual movement stops. So let's do a little bit of tweaking around here. Okay, so the character slides on, stops, and at this point we want the motion to happen again. So let's drag and drop it onto the character, like that. Okay, great. So we'll just play it through. So the character moves and slides, stops. Just play that through that a little bit, just to make sure. Yep, well, that's good. And now let's just do a bit of face animation. So I'm going to get it so the eyes, as he's slowing down, the eyes are going to start looking towards the center. So make sure when you're in that window that you click on the eyes and they go orange. That means that they're activated. So then you can just slide them around a bit. That's great. And with the little widget, we'll also do a little head turn. So the eyes are going to move slightly and the head's going to move into the center slightly as well. It's very subtle animation, but it gives the character a little bit more life. Now I'm just going to put a bit of text in this and it will make the mouth move. So I'm just going to write a little bit of text in here. Like that, and go OK. And then it will show you some mouth expressions and mouth movements, so that's great. So the character is now moving, it's stopping, the head's turning, and we're seeing a few mouth sprites to simulate, mouth movements, which is great. It's exactly what you want. And now let's do it. So once he's finished talking, or she's finished talking, the eyes then move over to look off screen, like that, with the little widget. Let's just turn that as well, so the head turns with it as well. So the eyes move, the heads will move, and let's play that through. So it slides on, stops, the eyes look over, the head turns, mouth moves, eyes look away, head turns, and the character moves off screen. So that's exactly what we want. It's a very basic video. And a very basic animation, but it kind of shows you shows you how simple and easy it is to do this. So now we're going to just swap out some sprites for the eyes blinking. So on the timeline, we'll get to where we want it to be. Click on one of the sprites. So we'll click on the close sprite, move a few frames, and then click on the open sprite again, like that. So what we'll do now is we'll repeat this a few times throughout the sequence. You can do a lot more expression to this, but this is just the basics to show you how the eyes move, the mouth move, and the characters can move around as well. And I think you would agree that it's very simple to do. So close some eyes, left and right, move along, open left and right again. This might be a bit too quick, this blinking, but it'll be okay. Just play it through, blink blink, talking, move off again. So once you're happy with that, go to File Render, export the project, give it a file name, and then it will save out. As simple as that.